Okay, we can start. So thank you very much and welcome to everyone to this second station of our Road to COP, Road to Belem. This year there will be COP30, a very important moment for all the climate movement and of course also for us, for the network of GCSAYN. So I will give the floor first to Divine and our D to the welcome remarks, and then we can run into the session of today that will have Sue Miller together with us, and also the Center of Excellencies that will show the activities on the ground. So, Divine, the floor to you to the welcome for the welcoming remarks.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Chokam Divine. I'm the founder and executive of Climate Smart Agriculture Network Global, of course. We are so delighted to have you all here at this very important and timely moment, especially where we are having the UN Food System Summit +4 stock taking for African region going on in Nairobi right now, where all the food system actors are right there trying to negotiate and discuss on the next steps prior to the stock taking event, official one in Addis Ababa that is coming up in July 27th to 29th, where everybody's invited. So this session actually is going to be very, very important and insightful because I'm very, very passionate about it because I was there in the beginning of this program, ECOCIDE. I was very there at the right beginning. And I mean, we're gonna have 1 minute silence for Barrister Polly Higgins first before we start the session. So Domenico, so you set it up for 1 minute, 1 minute silence. Yeah, thank you very much, colleagues, for this honor. I would say this, I met Polly, I think that was 2011, when I was flying to COP, to Durban for COP17. And this story is very true. This is a real story. Polly set up the program on ECOCIDE, and she was looking for young people to work with. And she spotted me on the plane. I can't forget. She spotted me on the plane. She came on my flight and looked at me on my seat and told me, you are Divine. I said, yes. She gave me a copy of a book she wrote on ECOCIDE. And the idea about ECOCIDE, Sue is going to talk about it. I don't want to dive into it, but I just want to give a little bit background that CSAYN has been behind. So we flew to Durban together. And when I flew to Durban with her for COP, the first African COP ever, 2011, she encouraged me. She said, no, I want you to be part of this program. I wanted this, the idea. She gave me the genesis of the program. She gave me the background. And of course, Polly Higgins, she's a barrister, a law, and she's done a lot of work. And she was looking forward to make sure that those who actually, destroy or try to deteriorate the environment, they have to pay a price for that. You know what I'm saying? So that's how she came up with that idea. And we finished, we were in Durban. BBC was able to interview me on that. I think some of you have seen the interview. Perhaps it will be a good thing for me to equally put that on when I'm discussing this, because it was really, really important. It was an important event. And she said to me, I want you to be part of my ambassadors. I want you to be the first ambassador for this program. So that's how I went to South Africa. And when we met, I was able to connect with some of the lawyers there. We started discussing, and that's how I was aware that there was a law about the environment called ECOCIDE.
Does it feel like no matter how much effort you put in as an NP or PA, you're stuck
when that happened, I was fortunate to be interviewed because I was working with the UNU booth in, I was working with the UNU booth in at COP.
All right, I'm here to represent the
1 second, guys.
Costa Rica was one of the first initiatives.
Just get it very fast.
Summit in 1992 in Brazil, and subsequently in Johannesburg in 2002, which has 16 prescribed values or ethical framework whereby it has to do with maybe climate change, sustainable development as a whole. And additionally to that, I'm equally representing ECOCIDE.
Tell me a little bit about the organization you represent and what its aims are, especially here at COP17.
All right, yeah, right. I'm here to represent the Earth Charter Task Force. It's based in Costa Rica. It was one of the first initiatives set up after the Earth Summit in 1992 in Brazil, and subsequently in Johannesburg in 2002, which has 16 prescribed values or ethical framework whereby it has to do with maybe climate change, sustainable development as a whole. And additionally to that, I'm equally representing ECOCIDE. ECOCIDE is an initiative that has to do with the earth law, because you have the law of humans. Right now, we're trying to set up the law of the earth so that if you're going to pollute the earth for 20%, you're going to be fined for that.
So it would be a crime to commit, to cause pollution against the earth, to damage the environment. Similar, as I believe they have a law in Ecuador, the only country in the world which has implemented such a law.
Absolutely.
You want that to spread?
Yeah, absolutely. And right now, we're trying to see how maybe in Brazil next year, from now, the 6 upcoming months, we have to intensify the process and advocate on that. So that's why I'm here as well.
Okay, and you're a youth movement represented in how many countries?
Oh, right now, of course, the Earth Charter is worldwide. It's worldwide, and ECOCIDE is just coming up. It's a group of lawyers that are setting up the law, and so many of these lawyers are right here. You have the UN ambassador for Bolivia, who is equally part of the initiative.
Right, and that's something I've noticed here at COP17. There seems to be a growing number, increasingly vocal number of youth organizations. Is that something you've noticed as well? You're feeling your voice is being heard?
Yeah, actually, it's my first COP here. I said I should come for this COP because it's in Africa, and of course, that's a third world country where the aspect of pollution is being implemented so far. So I said, let me come here. Let me come here to see how the voice of youth could be heard. And additionally to that, I equally represent UNICEF Rural Voice of Youth, which has to do with the rural communities on how we can carry out survey and get the voice of the young people heard. And I'm happy to see so many young people around. So that's one of my principles to be here.
Right, and the Earth Law, I mean, it's obviously a long way from there being any kind of universal Earth Law applied, but do you feel that's a message that's getting through?
Yeah, as of now, I think, for example, the Earth Charter, so many countries, in Russia, just of now submitted the zero draft declaration for the summit. In Brazil, they equally endorse the Earth Charter, respect to that. They use some of our words to do that, to make that happen. So I think we have 6 months intensive work hard to respect to that.
Okay, well, good luck with that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. I just thought I should share a little bit of background of how it started. And now Sue is here. She's going to speak more on detail of what they're doing right now and what has been done so far. So Sue, I'm going to give back the floor to Domenico. Domenico, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Divine, and thank you for giving me the honor to present our guest today. Actually, just a little bit of background. We had also the opportunity to meet in person with you in a very important moment. There was the COP16 on biodiversity in Rome. And as Divine stated, ECOCIDE is actually the way on how we are destroying biodiversity. That's important also to consider if we are dealing with agriculture, no? Non-generative agriculture is gonna do the ecocide. It's gonna affect and destroy nature. Regenerative agriculture indeed is a way in which we can stop ecocide. And so it's a pleasure and an honor for me to give the floor to Sue Miller, that's the head of the global network of Stop Ecocide International. Sue, thank you very much for being with us. The floor is yours.
Well, that way bitterness.
Shall I start?
Yes, please.
Yep. Well, first, thank you both for your introductions. Thank you for putting the history with Polly into context there. That was brilliant. So you were there right from the from the very early days. And thank you all for inviting me here today. And first, I want to acknowledge and applaud the great work you guys are doing, because sustainable climate resistant and resilient agriculture is critical, not just for food security, but for the future of our planet. And I just want to talk today about how ECOCIDE can help to strengthen your mission and tell you a little bit about what it is, what we're doing in terms of getting it onto the statute books, and how it can impact the way we interact with our earth and our relationship with it. So the ECOCIDE law movement has been growing rapidly in the last few years, but the concept has been around for over half a century, since the 1970s. And in fact, it was discussed quite a lot during the last decades of the 20th century, when the negotiations for the International Criminal Court were taking place, but it dropped off the agenda quite suddenly and mysteriously in about 1996. It was revived by the visionary lawyer who we've heard about, Polly Higgins, and she spent years researching the most effective way to use the law to protect the earth. And her conclusion was that an ECOCIDE law, an international ECOCIDE law, would provide the broadest and most comprehensive protection. And so she devoted the rest of her life to making it happen. Polly sadly died in 2019. But by that time, she had created some incredibly solid foundations for the movement. And she founded Stop ECOCIDE International in 2017 with our current chief exec, Jojo Mehta. So what is ECOCIDE? The word is a compound word, and it comes from the Greek oikos, meaning home, and the Latin caedere or sidere, I don't know how the Romans pronounced it, but that basically means to kill or to strike down. So ECOCIDE means basically to kill your home, kill our home. And it was first used in around about 1970 by a bioethicist called Professor Arthur Golston to describe what the US Army were doing in the Vietnam War using Agent Orange as a defoliant. Now we'll have a look at the definition later in more detail, but broadly it refers to the most serious and egregious acts of environmental harm. And the objective of the ECOCIDE law movement is to see ECOCIDE enshrined as the 5th crime against peace within the jurisdiction of the International Criminal Court. And it will do this by amending the founding document of the court, which is the Rome Statute. And once it's there, it'll sit alongside genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and crimes of aggression as the 5th crime against peace. Now, that objective is advancing rapidly. I could even say more rapidly than we'd even anticipated. And along the way, we've also seen as a sort of a parallel phenomenon that individual countries are bringing ECOCIDE laws into their own domestic legislation around the world. So that's in parallel to the International Criminal Court's initiative. So why do we need an ECOCIDE law? Well, the current legal and regulatory framework isn't protecting the planet. And we can all see this. The evidence is all around us. The existing pacts and treaties that we have are fragmentary. So they focus on either specific issues or particular geographic areas. And they have no effective means of enforcement. I mean, if you look, for example, at the Paris Agreement or the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, both of those are probably honoured more in the breach than in the observance. And most states are really quite far from fulfilling their obligations under the Paris Agreement, and there's very little that we can do to oblige them to do so. So ECOCIDE law fills in the gaps in existing frameworks and provides some teeth. Why do we need ECOCIDE law? Well, another reason is that our company law is seriously outdated. Most environmental damage results from commercial activity, and that includes agriculture. And the foundations of company law, which govern commercial activity, date back hundreds of years to a time when resources seemed infinite and our means of exploiting those resources were a lot less effective than they are now. So those laws were designed to protect profits and shareholders, not the planet. So we do have laws and we do have regulations in place to protect the environment now, but too many corporations are prepared to risk fines or civil lawsuits because the amounts they might be required to pay, if indeed they are called to account, are usually dwarfed by the profits that they can make, and they can write those payments off as a business expense. So ECOCIDE creates personal criminal liability for the key decision makers behind the worst acts of environmental damage. And so it'll fundamentally change boardroom decision making. So company directors will no longer have to decide whether the corporation can afford the potential fines or damages. They'll have to consider whether the project might fall within the definition of ECOCIDE and so trigger personal criminal liability for them, along with whatever reputational damage and loss of market value will follow on for the company. So it therefore has a really powerful deterrent effect. Another reason why we need ECOCIDE law is social justice. Most of the damage to the environment is caused by corporations, often headquartered in the global north, and most of the damage is suffered by those living in the global south, often in places where the rule of law isn't so strong. So ECOCIDE can help to change that power imbalance by giving redress to those living in affected areas. And another reason we need ECOCIDE law is because by elevating environmental destruction to an international crime, we're underlining the importance of the environment and the status, we're raising the status of environmental protections generally, and so helping to bring about a shift in consciousness around what we as humanity find acceptable. And so we'll start to create a healthy taboo against the sort of extreme environmental damage we're seeing. So let's have a little look at the definition of ECOCIDE. The definition that we use as an organisation was formulated in 2021 by an independent panel of experts convened by our sister foundation, Stop Ecocide Foundation. The panel consisted of 12 international legal experts from various backgrounds. It included several international criminal court jurists, academic lawyers, and activist lawyers. They all had experience in criminal, environmental, and climate law. They were assisted by outside experts and also held a public consultation that brought together voices from hundreds of people, lots of ideas from people with legal, economic, political backgrounds, youth voices, faith voices, Indigenous voices from around the world. And their brief was to meet once a month for 6 months and to come up with a workable definition of ECOCIDE that could be inserted into the Rome Statute, which is the founding document of the International Criminal Court, as an amendment. And this is what they came up with. ECOCIDE means unlawful or wanton acts committed with knowledge that there is a substantial likelihood of severe and either widespread or long-term damage to the environment being caused by those acts. So on the face of it, it's a very simple and elegant definition, but each word has a legal significance or precedent. Now, if you want to find out more about it, look into it a bit more deeply, there's a commentary, a full commentary on the definition on our website, and I'll give you a link to that at the end. When it was published in 2021, it was very well received, and lots of states have since discussed it at parliamentary level, interparliamentary level, and government level. I'll tell you a bit more about that a bit later on. So why do we want to create this law at the International Criminal Court? Why that court in particular? Some people have suggested that a new court should be set up to deal exclusively with environmental crimes. But setting up a new court takes a huge amount of political will and a huge amount of money. The International Criminal Court already exists, and there's a tested procedure and precedent for amendment. The crime of aggression was actually added relatively recently as the fourth crime against peace. So we can see that there's a precedent and a route to do it. Also, the ICC already exists, so it doesn't take a huge amount of effort to get it going. It's just a matter of tacking a new law into, or sort of adding an amendment to the Rome Statute. It also offers consistency across countries. So once a state ratifies ECOCIDE at the International Criminal Court, it will generally bring that law into its own legal system. And so with time, you'll have a growing number of countries around the world with a similar law. So the law will be unified. I'm getting some feedback here. Oh, it stopped. The other thing is the International Criminal Court embodies a principle called complementarity. And that means that national courts will have primary jurisdiction. So any acts of ecocide will be tried in those domestic courts. And the ICC will only step in if national courts cannot or will not prosecute. And finally, and this is really interesting, ecocide was originally intended to be included in the Rome Statute. It featured in the discussions leading up to the ICC, right up until 1996. I mentioned earlier when it mysteriously dropped from the discussions, and it happened in a closed-door meeting in an unminuted conversation, and nobody knows why. There is no paper trail. Polly Higgins did a lot of research to try and find out why that happened, but came up with a blank. So we'll probably never know. But all we know is that only 4 states had ever spoken against ecocide law, and they were the United States, United Kingdom, sadly, Netherlands and France. All of those countries had state oil industries and burgeoning nuclear industries. So whether that had anything to do with it, we don't know. But what we say now is that ecocide law is the missing law, and we need to restore it to its rightful place in the Rome Statute. Now, the ICC began sitting in 2022, and you really have to wonder what acts of environmental destruction and devastation might have been avoided or mitigated if that law had been in place right from the start. Let's look a bit at progress. So 2021, we launched the definition, and there's been a huge amount of activity around it amongst governments and advocacy and discussions and talks and so on. 2024 was a really momentous year. In April of that year, Belgium became the first state to introduce an ecocide law into its own domestic legislation based on the independent expert panel definition. Then in May 2024, the European Union revised its 2008 Environmental Crimes Directive and brought in what they called a new qualified offence of crimes comparable to ecocide. So that means that within 24 months of that directive, which will take us to May 2026, EU member states are obliged to bring the provisions of that Environmental Crimes Directive into their legal systems, including ecocide level crime. So that, for the movement, was a huge step forwards. Then in September 2024, ecocide, the definition reached the International Criminal Court. So Vanuatu, Fiji and Samoa, 3 Pacific Island states, all sort of mortally threatened by sea level rises from climate change, formally proposed the independent expert definition as an amendment to the Rome Statute. So that is now sitting within the working group on amendments at the International Criminal Court. In October, at COP16 in Cali in Colombia. The Democratic Republic of Congo came on board and formally announced its support. And also last year, the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe recommended including the independent expert panel definition in the Convention on the Protection of the Environment through criminal law. So a lot happened in 2024. In addition to that, there are diplomatic discussions going across various countries. Austria, Estonia, Finland, New Zealand, Panama, Romania, just to name but a few. There have been ECOCIDE sort of bills going through many countries. Some are nearing conclusion, some are in their early stages, but there's a move around the world to get ECOCIDE law into legal systems. So it's a big movement, and it's one that's sort of at a tipping point at the moment. The other thing to say about ECOCIDE law is that it isn't an anthropocentric law. So it doesn't need humans to have suffered a loss or to suffer in order to be ecocide. So with most laws, humans have to have suffered a property loss or a physical loss in order for it to be a crime. It's sufficient for the environment itself to be damaged. But there is also a very strong human rights connection, because ecocide does cause violations to life, to the right to life, to health, and to culture. And it particularly affects indigenous communities and communities on the front line of climate change and environmental degradation. So ECOCIDE law, whilst not being anthropocentric, does strengthen the intersection of environmental and human rights law. And it also polices the human right to a clean, healthy, and sustainable environment, which the UN declared in 2022. So how am I doing for time? I don't want to carry on talking. Do you want me to carry on talking? Do you want to have some questions? There's plenty more to say, but maybe people want to ask questions.
Two more minutes.
Yeah. All right. Okay, fantastic. So, well, why is ECOCIDE relative to Climate Smart Agriculture Youth Network's mission? For a start, it protects the ecosystems that agriculture depends on. So healthy soils, clean water, and a stable climate are the foundation of sustainable agriculture. And ECOCIDE law directly targets practices that degrade those systems, like illegal deforestation, oil spills, deep sea mining, toxic pesticide dumping. It empowers youth to speak out, young people to speak out, because you guys are about youth leadership, and ECOCIDE law provides a legal language to frame your advocacy, not just in moral or scientific terms, but as a matter of justice. And you can say, it's not just bad policy, this is a potential crime, and a crime against nature and a crime against future generations. It talks to climate justice and intergenerational equity. So many of the communities you support are already feeling the brunt of climate breakdown. So ECOCIDE law amplifies the call for accountability, especially where vulnerable populations are disproportionately affected by environmental harm. And finally, it promotes regenerative farming and responsible business. So it discourages harmful investment, and it encourages climate smart regenerative approaches. It creates a legal incentive for sustainable innovation, which is really the sort of innovation that you guys at GCSAYN are championing. I'll be quiet now.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sue, for this insightful presentation and an overview. But it could have been better if you had a presentation, maybe a PowerPoint, so that we can share with the team. Maybe
I have a PowerPoint, but I
No.
didn't know how to share, so I can share the PowerPoint afterwards.
Okay, so yeah, so you're gonna send it to me, then I'll upload on our virtual academy and share with the colleagues who are here on the call.
Please do. There is a PowerPoint to go with it, but I don't know how to share my screen here, and we didn't have an intro.
Can you send it to me? Can you send it to me? Can you send it to me?
Yeah.
Send it to my email. Yes.
I will do. I'll do it after
Good.
the session, and then you can share.
So let me give the floor to Alex. Alex, do you have any questions from the chat box? You want to read out?
Divine. Yes, sure. Hello, Sue, as well. My name is Alex, and so I guess there are like two questions regarding to the founding and support to the COP, the COP30. So Jean Paul and Amiya, they both ask, is there any founding scope for the CSOs for participation on the COP30? Is there any support?
Okay, that doesn't apply to the presentation right now. I'll respond to that. Yeah,
Great.
I think there are a lot of opportunities. I may want to share some of them here on the chat box right now. Yeah, any other question for Sue?
Yeah, there's one question for Sue regarding from Tarek. It says, will it not be an ecocide if those who are commuting said activities are not aware of their impacts?
Well, the definition is that they have to know. So the definition is this. They have to be committed with knowledge that there is a substantial likelihood of severe and either widespread or long-term damage. So they have to know that it was likely. That's the definition. So it's only targeted at the very worst and the most severe environmental damage. So it's very hard to know, if you are engaged in that sort of activity, that there isn't a likelihood of it happening.
Yeah, any other question?
Yeah,
Also,
good to know. This is more like a comment or a question, but it says it's from Chinain, and it says, since various countries have a different political background and priorities when it comes to environmental protection, I think there is a need to tailor laws for each country's specific environmental concerns to foster national level of implementation for ecocide laws.
Yeah, well, in fact, this is happening, and countries are sort of adopting it because they're seeing actually we can use this within our own country, and they're seeing the value of it. So that's something we are seeing happening, which is really encouraging.
Great, thank you, Sue. That was all in the chat.
All right, thank you very much. Now, I'm going to ask a question to Sue. My question goes, so what does it take to be part of the ECOCIDE project? Because, what are the requirements? Maybe, is it anybody? You just get up in the morning and then you say, ECOCIDE ambassadors. So what's the procedure?
Okay, so we've got lots of things going on. So that would apply to you guys. So we have a farming and land network where we sort of reach out to those involved in farming and working on the land. So that's important. That's really started in the UK. We would love to spread it out and to get it more internationally, and to get maybe an international webinar where those working on the land can come together and sort of share experience. But the other things that we have a youth group called Youth for Ecocide Law. So I will again, those will be in my PowerPoint display, my PowerPoint show. So there'll be links through to that. And we also have a student ambassadors group. So for anyone who's studying at the moment, they're both very active and vibrant groups. So you can join those, become either student ambassadors or Youth for Ecocide Law. The most important thing to help the movement at the moment is to speak about ecocide law and to share the message and to amplify it. And we have various PowerPoint presentations and materials that can be used, and to help sort of to go out, speak to your colleagues, your friends, your fellow students. and also to if you have the opportunity to get involved in policy, to help get it into policy documents, because the more people know about it, the more they support it. There was an Ipsos survey carried out at the end of last year, but I think September, and they polled thousands of people across G20 countries, and something like 72% of people supported the creation of an ECOCIDE law. So when people know about it, they support it. Does that answer your question? I can't hear anything. I think you're on mute.
I'm going to give the floor to Olipa has a question. Olipa, over to you.
Thank you very much. Divine, thank you very much, Madam Tu, for that wonderful presentation of the ECOCIDE law. I'm particularly excited about it because of what is happening in the environment. And also I wanted to ask or try and echo or emphasize in the law if there could be more provisions of enactors or enablers. What do I mean? I mean, sometimes, hello?
Hello? Can you hear?
Yes.
Yeah. I was saying that sometimes at national level, sometimes we've had problems whereby we have this damage, it occurs, and then also within the nation, there are some laws that prevent people from really reacting or enforcing the payment by would-be like perpetrators of the damage. So the youth and other movements, they are limited on maybe how far you can speak against some ills. And I would speak, yeah, maybe I hope you have understood that part. I could give examples, but I would love if that can be emphasized.
Well, this is the sort of, in a sense, the beauty of the International Criminal Court. Because what happens is that ECOCIDE law is created. The countries who ratify it bring it into their own legal systems. And that means that you can pursue ECOCIDE claims in that country. But if it runs into trouble with the existing legal system, then you have recourse to the International Criminal Court. So it's a supranational court, in a sense, which comes into play where the legal system is preventing, or even the political system is preventing claims from proceeding.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much. I think now, so what we agreed is we're gonna get some ambassadors. You're gonna send me an email with everything so that we can try to get the members of the Centers of Excellence to be part of it. And colleagues, we are giving priorities to the Centers of Excellence because they are actually accountable to GCSAYN. This is what I mean, because there's an aspect of legitimacy. It's an aspect of professionalism. So that's why we signed MOUs with head of schools, primary schools, high schools, universities, and TVETs. So that's how we operate. We hardly work very strongly with CSOs, but we collaborate with them. But our priority as these students, because those are the future of a country.
What do you mean? Sorry, can I just interrupt you? What do you mean by a CSO in this context?
Yeah, CSO simply means civil society organizations. That's what it means.
Sorry, what organizations?
Civil society organizations.
Oh, civil society. Oh, civil society. Sorry, yes.
Yeah. Because from our past experiences, non-profit organizations, they'll come and get our projects and go and implement and don't let us know without implementing. So that's why we have decided to work just with tangible and the legal institutions. So we are very, very happy to know this. I see another question here. Can ECOCIDE law be used as a tool for promoting sustainable development and environmental justice globally? So for you.
Can ECOCIDE be used as a tool for promoting sustain? Absolutely. Well, it supports sustainable development because it discourages unsustainable development. And if ECOCIDE law is in place, then you're not going to get the investment for unsustainable development if it's likely to sort of cross over into ECOCIDE law. So yes, very much so. It will support and help to sort of shift things into a healthier place.
You're right. Any other question, Alex?
There is no other relevant questions, I believe.
Okay. Now I gotta introduce my very good friend. Nikki, don't refuse me introducing you. I have to introduce you here. I hope she's still here.
I'm
Nikki,
here, Divine. It's nice to
good.
see you.
Perfect. Nikki is my very good friend for over 10 years plus. Nikki and I met in Cameroon when she was working for the American School of Yaoundé. And I went to American School of Yaoundé to collaborate with her on some environmental education programs. That was like 10, almost around many years. Nikki, perhaps introduce yourself, please.
It was, I think it was, I think it was 11 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have the floor, Nikki. In 3 minutes or 5 minutes, just introduce yourself, what you do, and how the work you're doing with EE. Yes.
Sure. I have, so I'm a professional environmental scientist and engineer, and I have been working on climate modeling as well as ecosystem restoration for over 25 years. I've taught at many high schools around the world. And in all those high schools, I teach students not only the content, but also the skills that are required in order to promote ecosystem restoration and conservation. And I get all the kids outside doing the hands-on work. About 5 years ago, I moved back to the United States, and I have been doing that work at high schools here, as well as at universities. I live just outside New York City. So I just want to help promote these ideas as much as possible and do anything that I can to help everybody in this group as time permits.
Thank you, Nikki. Sue, so you already have some advocates here. Nikki has actually pledged that she's going to support that because she's been doing that ever. Nikki actually, she invited me to the state of Connecticut to train, to listen to high schools where she was teaching. It was so exciting. Nikki, thank you very much for always being there for us. With this, I'm going to give the floor now we're going to move now to the Centers of Excellence. What we mean by Centers of Excellence, actually high schools, primary schools, universities, and TVET. So they're going to be sharing their experience and how they think, and how they're going to fit into the ECOCIDE agenda, how they're going to be in mainstream the ECOCIDE agenda within their framework. I'll start with my very good professor here from Bafemi Awolowo University, Adelu Ayawale. So please, Prof, you have the floor. Tell us a little bit on how you think the ECOCIDE agenda is going to fit in your program at Bafemi Awolowo University, being a center of excellence for GCSAYN based in Nigeria.
Thank you, Divine. Thank you for the privilege of being here. I'm Adelu Ayawale, a professor of development economics. I'm working on climate matters. It's interesting to be at this meeting. This ECOCIDE law is very, very important because I'm talking about environmental protection. Treaties that we
Prof, you're too low. Prof, you're too low. Can you be audible?
Low?
Yes.
Okay.
Be a little bit audible.
Okay. Can you hear?
You're far from your mic.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's coming on and off. Perhaps you should be close to your mic.
Okay. I try.
Yeah. Go on, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, sure. It's better.
Okay. Thank you. So, Obafemi Awolowo University, we have in partnering with the Climate Smart GCSAYN, we have demonstration plots where we put the best, where we demonstrate and discourage the environment and sustainable farming among students. And we also do outreaches to the high schools around in Osun State. Outreaches we reach out to secondary schools and encourages them on best practices for both livestock and crops. And so far, we've been able to able to achieve make some achievements towards this. So the ECOCIDE law is definitely tangential to our program, and we hope to link up. Thank you.
Sir, thank you very much for joining. Thank you for your presentation. And we are very, very happy to have you on board. I'm going to move now to, I'll have a little bit of break. I'll go to Juliet. Juliet is very important for us here because she's leading our global youth program on women. And we know women actually, when there's a climate disaster or whatever, women and young people are actually the most vulnerable. So Juliet, please give us a little bit of your perspective looking at the WASA context. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Edie, and greetings, everyone. My name is Juliet Ejize, and I am from Nigeria. I'm equally the Global Chair for Women in Agriculture for Sustainable Africa. WASA is one of the flagship programs of Climate Smart Agriculture Network. We started since 2021, and we've been having a lot of trainings for women. The idea of WASA is to empower the women and also empower the girl child, making them aware of their potentials and how they can contribute meaningfully to the food system. So I really want to appreciate the speaker, our guest speaker. I've really learned a lot, and I think WASA agenda can actually fit into a lot of things you've discussed. I think first of all, we'll start by creating awareness, because a lot of women that we work with are in one agribusiness or the other. Some of them are in livestock farming business, some are in crop farming business. So they need to be aware of the importance of environmental protection while going about their activity. So I think the WASA, we can actually raise the volume and make them aware of the importance of protecting the environment while carrying out their agricultural activity, and also to be aware of the consequence of ecocide, that whatever thing you destroy in maybe trying to earn a living, trying to do your farming or whatever, has consequences, and we suffer it all. It's not just, the person, but every other person suffers it. So I think in WASA, since we're all about empowering women in sustainable agriculture, it's just to make them to be aware of the consequences of ecocide and also the importance of environmental protection. Thank you very much.
Very much. I think that was West Africa. Now we're gonna move to the SADC. I have Olipa. Olipa gonna give his idea, a perspective as far as the SADC team is concerned. Olipa, over to you.
Thank you very much. And good to be here again. My name is Olipa.
Why don't you guys share your screen? What's your problem? Why don't you show your cameras?
I'm a lecturer at the University of Zambia. I teach okay.
Go ahead.
So climate change and food security at the University of Zambia. And I also teach irrigation management and water management. And it's good to be here in this meeting. At this moment, it's an honor to be part of this discussion, a very important discussion. As I mentioned in the beginning, what we're discussing here is affecting all of us in different ways. And I would like to speak particularly for my region, the SADC region, where I'm heading or coordinating the activities in the region. So the SADC region is comprised of 16 member countries, and of the 16, we have centers of excellence in Malawi, Zambia, Zimbabwe, South Africa, DRC, and Botswana. And in all these, I don't know, I want to share something. Can I just share a document?
Go ahead.
Okay.
You can share. In progress.
Okay, let me send to you, Domenico.
To me, send to me. Domenico is not. Domenico has gone for a meeting.
Oh, he's gone for a meeting.
Send to me. Send to me. But can you just continue talking like that? Can you talk like that without presenting it? Can you talk like that? Can you speak like that?
Okay, sure.
Just go ahead.
So, okay. So I was saying that in our discussion on the ECOCIDE, it's very important for us at this time because most of our works are enshrined to livelihoods. So the idea of protecting the environment through the protection of soils, the forestry, and all the biodiversity is very important for us, even as a network, as we fight climate change impact, as well as the impacts due to human activities. So in the SADC region, what is really obtaining? I'll speak to three main factors. So in the region, mainly the deforestation, the mining, and the extreme events are really affecting the regions. Extreme events in terms of floods and droughts, they're really making this worse. So what does that mean? It means we have problems of food insecurity and food and water insecurity. In terms of environmental damage, we've had recent activities of acid spillage, especially in Zambia. There was an incident of acid spillage from a mining company in a river it's in the heart of the nation. And with that, it means that this affects agriculture. It also affects the livelihoods of those communities. In other countries, also there's been a lot of water contamination from plastics. So as a network, how is this law, and how do we come up with achieving our goals as a network and also as a globe? What I can speak to that is that we have to uphold the 3 Ps of sustainability. We need to have that heart to consider the people, consider what will happen. It's not just about having profit or improving livelihoods at all costs. It's no longer that. And I liked the response that Madame Sue gave, that this law, when it comes into place, is going to be a supra law. It means that at a national level or at a regional level, if we fail to agree, or if the enforcement is not done, we can take it to that higher level where we can get justice for that, which is very good, because we have young people who are doing agriculture and we need to train them in different areas. So we are working with the youth and bringing in the children also into agriculture. And in Botswana, they have also that kind of network where they are fostering businesses from young people as soon as they finish school. So it's very important that there's awareness. The agriculture, as we are doing it to bridge the food systems, we need to be aware of the laws that govern. Even if we bring in what's the word again? If we bring intentional damage to the land, to the water. So in conclusion, what I can say about that is that as a network now, what we have to do is that we have to increase also the advocacy, because this law is indeed going to give us increased confidence to promote the CSAYN agenda. And in the CSAYN agenda, one of the things that that is part of it is the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. And of all the goals, if we have the sustainable food systems and we also have environmental sustainability, it means outrightly we're going to have improved livelihoods. So in a nutshell, this is what I can say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll give the floor now to Claudien. Claudien from DRC. Claudien. Claudien.
I saw him in the meeting, but I'm not sure if the network is very good to his side.
Okay, Jean-Paul, are you the one? Are you from DRC?
Yes.
Are you from DRC, yes or no? Why answer as if you don't know?
Yes, I'm from DRC, yes.
So speak on behalf of DRC. Speak on behalf of DRC. There's no time. Go ahead.
But I will speak small because I didn't prepare it.
No,
I'm Jean-Paul.
Let's say. Okay. Let's say. I'll give the floor to Neva. Neva is going to speak on behalf of Zimbabwe. Neva and I, who have been working for over 10 years, since we set up CSAYN, we are part of the GACSA agenda. So, Neva, over to you.
Hello, how are you, colleagues?
Very fine, thank you.
I'm okay, and it's very cold in Zimbabwe. So about this ECOCIDE, I think as people, we are devastating our environment. So our ecosystems, like in Zimbabwe, are being degraded. The water resources are being polluted from mining, especially from the Chinese, who don't care for the environment, but care for their pockets. So recently in Zimbabwe, we had a problem of the death of large quantities of fish in our reservoir, which supply the capital city of Zimbabwe, which is Harare. And the water was declared unsuitable for purification, even for washing and consumption. We also have a problem is in our large national parks where elephants have been poisoned by cyanide. This caused a public outcry because of the devastated ecosystem from mining activities. Also from mining activities, most of the rivers which flow all year round are no longer flowing, and they are murky, meaning they are rather very dirty. They have a cloudy appearance because of mining activities. So in Zimbabwe, the major factor which is affecting our ecosystem, causing a lot of ecocide, is mining from international corporations, especially the Chinese. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you very much, Neva. So can you tell us a little bit how far you guys have gone with CSAYN in Zimbabwe?
Yeah, with the CSAYN in Zimbabwe, we have got a center of influence, which is the great center of excellence, which is the Great Zimbabwe University. And also as the Climate Smart Agriculture Youth Network in Zimbabwe, which was formed in 2019, we are doing our work, though at a very low scale because of the socio-economic, even the political environment. But we are doing something, but we need to keep going and also to improve our activity so that we can be known throughout the whole country. But we are still there.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much. Yeah, let me give the floor to my very good friend, Professor Mary. I don't know if Professor Mary is right here. Professor Mary Otenyo. Professor Mary, you listened to the presentation, even though you perhaps came late, but you have an idea about environmental education. So perhaps you share a perspective as well.
Thank you very much. Colleagues, and thank you, Edie, for your invitation for this. I have followed the presentation, and in terms of our focus, maybe I say my name. My name is Mary Otieno from Kenya. I am an associate professor in the School of Education and an advocate of education for sustainable development. We cherish education because it is so important, and we use the whole institutional approach in our university. The whole institutional approach is where we are involving the university students to understand the importance of conserving the environment. So our students work with schools. And at the moment, I am working with students focusing on early childhood education and girls' education, and especially how climate change is affecting the schooling for girls. Because girls have very many challenges. In the African continent, you know, the girl is seen as somebody who can do everything. They collect water, they collect firewood, they do everything. And when it is drought, they suffer because there is no water. When it is during rainy season, they also suffer. They don't go to school because of flood. So we are focusing on developing the skills on how to conserve the environment by educating young children in kindergarten and primary schools to understand the importance of water, why they should conserve water, why they should know the sources of water, and how to ensure that the parents, the communities are able to access clean water. So we have moved from the university to the community and working with the communities in terms of avoiding excessive damage that is caused by water floods during rainy seasons, and also being able to survive during drought because this water is conserved when it is in plenty. Why we are focusing on early childhood, it is because we are assuming, our assumption or hypothesis is that when these children grow and become adults, they can have impact on the society because they know the right thing to do. Thank you so much, Edie.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you for your presentation. Thank you for your key messages. I heard about, I've taken the point, especially when you say you work with childhood, early childhood is very important because those are the drivers of sustainable development for the program that we've actually been involved in for the past years. Thank you very much. Let me give the floor. Sue, I'm going to come back to you very soon. Sue, because I have some questions for you. Yeah. I'm going to give the floor now to, I'll go to my screen. Sydney. No, not Sydney, because that's Sydney has spoken. I'll give the floor to Elizabeth Mbeng. After Elizabeth Mbeng, I'm going to give the floor to Brenda Alida. Elizabeth, give your perspective on the environmental. I know your expertise. I mean, you've worked with me in Cameroon while I was there as one of the interns. So share your waste management framework. How do you think ECOCIDE is an important agenda for you to believe in? Yes. Elizabeth Mbeng. Okay, I'll skip you. Brenda Alida, I'm sure, Brenda, are you from South Sudan?
I'm a Ugandan, but I work from South Sudan.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to be sure they are part of the team in South Sudan, right?
Yes.
Perfect. So
I'm
you have
here
the floor.
on behalf of South Sudan.
You have the floor. You have the floor.
Okay, thank you so much, Divine.
Can you put your screen?
My screen, you want my video?
Yeah, for sure. You don't have a, you put, where'd you hide your faces? Yes.
Okay. Amalinda Brenda. It's okay?
Yeah, sure.
Amalinda Brenda. I work with Justice for the Girls, but a member of Climate Smart Agriculture Youth Network. Justice for the Girls, we work with women and girls, and one of our mandates is on climate justice and environmental protection. We as Justice for the Girls in South Sudan, we work with girls in schools. There are many schools within South Sudan, and there are 10 states in South Sudan with 3 administrative areas. But we are based now in Juba, which is in Central Equatorial State. We have 5 schools we are working with. The girls who are in those schools, mainly we train them, we do awareness raising on climate change and environmental conservation. We train these girls on livelihood activities like the vegetable growing, because in South Sudan, it's a country that is dry. It's rich, it has a big piece of land, it's rich in land, but they are not utilizing the land because of the climate. It has a dry season. You'll find the whole year it is dry. We've just, since January now, we've started getting rain in May. So what we do in these schools, we do awareness raising on how to conserve the environment by planting trees. We sometimes, with our board, we have in-kind support, whereby we get, they give us some small amount of money where we can get some trees from the nursery beds, from different service providers. Then we make sure at least in every school, after our awareness raising, 2 trees are planted within those schools. Then on livelihood activities, we train them on how to plant or to grow vegetables within even the bottles, the empty bottles we use for drinking water. We encourage them not to throw them away. They can collect soil and put soil in those bottles and put in at least 1 seed within their homes or within the school gardens, because some schools have school gardens. Then we also do train them. We as Justice for the Girls, we do also advocate. We have some policies that in line with the Minister of Agriculture, that's Dr. Gada. We've been going to her office whereby we engage with the network, that is the Climate Smart Agriculture Network South Sudan, because it has different organizations, but these organizations under this network must be in line with something on climate. We don't just bring organizations to make the number big. So you must be having a program either on climate or agriculture. That's how this network is coming up, and that's how, Divine, you'll find that under Climate Smart Agriculture Youth Network in South Sudan, you'll find Justice for the Girls, and you wonder, how has Justice for the Girls come in? So this is how we come in, so that we support each other. So we also advocate for the rights of these girls and women. We also advocate for, in fact, we are developing under the Climate Smart Agriculture Youth Network. Dr. Gada gave us that opportunity to go ahead and draft a policy on the seed bank and the law that is guiding the environment. We're in line with, we are registered also with the Ministry of Environment. We have a letter of no objection to operate in South Sudan. Thank you, as brief as that.
Congratulations for the work you guys are doing in South Sudan. And of course, we are very, very proud of you. I'm very, very proud as a person and as well as an institution. All of us, we are proud of the work you're doing. And thank you very much. And we are looking for you to be ambassadors of ECOCIDE. Very soon, we're going to give a list to Sue. Let her look out this for the endorsement. I'm going to now I'll go to the presentation for Southern Africa because she had an issue with her screen. So I'm going to help her do that. Olipa, I'm going to help you present share your presentation. Yeah, I'll help you I'll be running very fast with it so that we save time. Where are we? Yeah. 1 second. Yep. Good job. Good. So that's it. So that's what Olipa prepared for us. And of course, she's a regional coordinator for GCSAYN in the SADC region, based at the University of Zambia. So that was her presentation. They have 60 countries that are working in, and that's some of the activities that are carried out now. The ECOCIDE law, they have actually adopted it in Zambia already, and that's why you can find on her presentation. You equally have the environmental damage around the SADC region, where they have the primary causes being deforestation, climate change impacts, and all of that. I will share this with you guys on the virtual academy when time comes. So those are some of the environmental damage. Those are some of the examples you see right there. You see they're actually echoing some of the countries that are polluting or try to misuse the life below water, the aquatic system. You have some of the activities here, the 3 Ps for sustainability. So do you want to tell what are the 3 Ps for sustainability, Olipa? Olipa.
Hello?
Olipa, what are the 3 Ps?
The 3 Ps of sustainability, they are just talking about people, the planet, and people. It means you have to be mindful of livelihoods of the people. And also in the planet, it means they are talking about the environmental protection and profits. It means looking at maximizing the profit. So in the 3 Ps, actually, in a nutshell, it's about creating a balance in whatever you're going to do. To have sustainability, you must create a balance. If you're going to offset, what are you going to offset? Is it just about profit? So I like what Neva said, not because it's from SADC, but I like what he said, because he said we have some international cooperators that are concentrating so much on the profit, disregarding the people and the planet.
Yeah,
that's it.
So thank you. So if I were to say that if I say, okay, the three pillars for sustainable development, if it's economic, social, and environmental, is it not better than saying the 3 Ps? Olipa?
Well, it is, but it's a PowerPoint.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, that instead of saying 3 Ps, I'm just trying to, because when you define sustainability, there are 3 pillars.
You're trying to enhance it. Yes, that's much better. There
are 3 pillars because the issue of 3 Ps, I mean, it's difficult to know what the Ps are. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, from definition of sustainability, we have three pillars. You know, the 3 pillars. If the 3 means pillars, then that's fine, which is environmental, social, and economic. And when we talk of economic, talk about the livelihood of the people. Environmental is just the environment, how to create it, and then you have the economic, social, and the whatever.
Governor.
Yes. So thank you. Let me go to the next slide. I just want us to stay aligned to the standard definitions, so that it helps the interns, because so that the interns should be aware, which is primary profit and that, which is fine anyway. It's still fine. That is the people, social, environmental, and then economic. Yeah. So thank you very much, Olipa, for this, and I'm grateful that you get this presentation. We're going to upload you on the virtual academy. But one of the things I thought I should equally want to share with us this year is the town hall. The town hall COPs is very important for everybody on this call, because all we are talking is how can we contribute to the to achieving the COP for the road to COP 30, you know, and this is very important component. So with this one, the town hall, as you see right here, it has to do with some of the events you need to organize at the country level. There's a registration, you just have to register, and then you register. Once you register, they're going to respond to you. I think I shared this on the chat box. I would share. Yeah, they'll respond to you, and then they have a little bit of seed funding to support your activity in countries towards scope as well. So I've equally shared the link for some of the funding mechanisms for people to apply for proposals, you know. So everything is there. This is actually something you have to take into consideration and cognizance. Yeah, I don't want people to complain that they don't have money for COP, or they don't have money for start X and Y, Z. So that's why I'm sharing this with all of us. It's very important, and that's going to help us equal for the work we are doing with ECOCIDE. Yes, so that's where we are. I'm going to move now. I'm going to give the floor now to my very good friend, Masreda. Masreda actually is a health personnel, because we have not actually left out the health component. So in 5 minutes maximum, we're going to close. But I'm going to give the floor to Masreda. In 1 minute, just tell us about the latest opportunity we have from Uganda. Tell us very fast, and then I'll give back the floor to Sue.
Okay.
Sue, can you come in now? Sue.
Hello.
Can you come in now?
Yeah, I can come in now. What would you like me to do?
Yeah, come in for your closing remarks. You're muted.
Sorry about that. In terms of closing remarks, I think the most important thing from our point of view is for people to get out there and spread the message, to tell people that there is a thing called ECOCIDE, that what it is, and that it is possible to legislate against it. And it's a very powerful and empowering and hopeful message, because it's actually a positive intervention that can be made. Because so much in terms of environment is sort of, we're talking and nothing actually ever gets done. Treaties and pacts are signed, but states don't adhere to them. So ECOCIDE law is actually something that is very concrete, very positive, and has some muscle to it. So the most important thing is to find ways in which you can spread the message. Now, I've shared the PowerPoint slides with Divine, and hopefully he'll share them with you. They were mainly sort of headings for me to talk to, so there's not a lot of substance to them. But if you want the sort of more text, I can certainly send that. I've put in the chat a link to our Youth ECOCIDE Law Digital Toolkit, which is brilliant, and I'll also send that to Divine as well, so he can distribute it beyond this meeting, and links to other resources that we have. But if you want to sort of talk to me further or get any further information about how you can connect, I mean, I'll send things to Divine, but do feel free to contact me directly as well if you want some clarification. And just keep what you're doing, just brilliant. Thank you for everything you do. Who's next? Divine?
Yeah. Hello.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, I think I've done my closing remarks. Unless you wanted me to talk for longer, I can talk forever if you like.
No, it's good. It's good. You did a good job. Yeah. So basically, that's good. So I don't know. I think it's good. It was very, very good. I think we are very happy for your presentation. We are happy to know that colleagues are interested in the ECOCIDE agenda. So I'm going to share the presentation. We're going to upload it on the virtual academy.
Brilliant.
And then I don't know. I want you to send me an email for the requirements because I want most of the people within the Center of Excellence to be ambassadors for the ECOCIDE program, to join the program. So I want an official email so that I would identify this.
We don't have an official ambassador program, but we just ask people to go out and to speak, you know, about ECOCIDE law. You can join the Student Ambassadors program, or you can join Youth for ECOCIDE law, but there isn't actually a formal general ambassadors program.
I know. Listen. I know what I'm talking about, because people are going to use the name of ECOCIDE and go for personal reasons. I don't want that to happen. That's why I want you to send me an email within GCSAYN constituency, we shall actually submit some names for you so that we know that they're legally binding. We don't want people, we don't just want things like that haphazardly. It's from experience. Because people are going to use your name and go and get money, you don't even know what's going to do with it. I'm saying this from experience. So that's why I want you to send me an email with the requirements, and then I'll go within the Centers of Excellence leads. We discuss they get their students involved. We are not working with non-students. We are not working with people out of school. That's it. We work with students. That's it. That's what we are.
That's amazing. Well, we have a wonderful students program.
Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want, because I want things to be. I don't want to use your. I don't want you to feel disappointed. People use your name for stuff and then they get things done the other way around. We don't want that.
Yeah.
I mean, for 12 years, we have gotten such bad experiences, so we want to mitigate that. That's why we are working just with Centers of Excellence. That's it. So I'm going to give the floor to my very good friend, Paul. Paul has a very big event in the UK. Paul, are you on this call?
Yes, I'm around.
So the beauty is that you have Sue here. The ECOCIDE program is based in the UK. Their headquarters in the UK. So now share your view about the summit and everything. You have 5 minutes, so then we're going to close.
Okay, thank you very much, Divine, and I'm pleased to join you in this meeting. Thank you, Sue, for that very elaborative talk on ECOCIDE. It's certainly been very enlightening, and I'm glad to learn a few things about ECOCIDE. So I'll be following up on that. And then out of our collaboration with the Climate Smart Network, we will we'll see how best we can leverage on the collaboration to promote the ECOCIDE advocacy. Well, just like Divine has said, we have a First Ladies of Africa Summit in London next month on 16th to 18th at the Royal Leonardo Hotel. And there will be some other related activities at the House of Lords.
Paul,
yes?
Share your screen, what you're talking about. Share your screen if possible.
Well, I've sent a request.
Yeah, I've done that. I've given you you can share. I've accepted the request. Because she's right here, it's better for her to see what you're talking about than sending email.
Okay. Can you see?
Not yet.
Yes?
No.
You can't see nothing yet?
No.
Okay. Finally, we're here. Okay. So this is a First Ladies High-Level Forum in Nairobi on 23rd of this month. And it's for catalyzing women's transformative leadership for AU Agenda 2063 and the UN SDGs with the First Ladies, academia, media, industry, innovators, and policy makers. So this will be on 23rd in Nairobi, and you're all welcome to be part one way or another. It will be at the University of Nairobi. And if you reach out through the ED, we're able to see what role you can play if you're interested, or how you can participate, either remote or physical attendance. Also, we have a summit in London. So let's just say, this is the summit that we have in London on 16 to 18 June. So we'll be having a good number of first ladies there and women leaders from across Africa, women founders, women on boards, women in government, women in civil society, so on and so forth. A good number of, facilitators, speakers, and delegates. And to crown it all, we have what we call the Flair Awards. The Flair Awards, we do have several categories, but in each of these categories, there are three main awards: the First Ladies Lifetime Achievers Award, and First Ladies Project of the Year Award, and First Ladies President's Award. So there's three awards, but across multiple sectors, as you can see here. And I do not want to go into the detail. The fact is we're going to have more than 500 delegates, around 50 to 100 international speakers and VVIPs. It's going to be a 3-day, very, very eventful, summit, so to speak. So you're welcome to learn more. You're welcome to inquire if you can play a role one way or another. Recently, we nominated Divine to the advisory board of FLAIR, and it's been doing quite an amazing job spreading the word out there. And also recently we collaborated with the Climate Smart Youth Network to involve some of their centers of excellence, regional hubs, in some of the FLAIR activities, one way or another. And we hope that in doing so, we'll be creating the next generation of leaders of the Africa we want, and by extension, a better world. So I want to stop there. Unless there is any question, then I'm willing to answer. However, if you go to flairsummit.com, you'll find more information, and also flairsummit.africa. So there's flairsummit.com, then flairsummit.africa. This is a conversation with first ladies from across Africa, and exceptional women of African origin from around the world in the diaspora, and also any person around the world who has got some sort of working relationship or project interest in Africa. So you're all welcome. Thank you very much, Divine, for sharing this information with the world.
Yeah, basically, I'm going to go through my screen because I like everybody to speak before I close. Those who have not spoken.
Thank you.
I have Wanja from Kenya. Wanja, give us in 1 minute your takeaway.
Yes, thank you very much. It's an honor to be from the National Camp of Kenya, working on biodiversity.
Your screen.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you put your screen, your video? We can hear you, Wanja. Go ahead.
Yes, and I'm glad to be part of this. At the moment, I may not be able to use the video because awareness raising, and I'm glad to see that there'll be a forum in Nairobi. So I'll include the students that I work with to be part and parcel of this, to be aware, so that they can actually be participatory. One of the questions to you, how well established is this system in Kenya? Thank you.
My goodness, that is the wrong question to ask, because we are
Not to worry, I'll do my homework.
Listen. The African office for GCSAYN is in Kenya, at the University of Kabianga. The East African office for GCSAYN is in Kenya, at the Rift Valley Institute of Science and Technology, Nakuru and Kericho. And then my most active country for the network is Kenya. So that's why I was saying that it's a good question, but at the wrong time, because we are fully registered in Kenya. 2017, we're already registered in Kenya. Kenya was the first country to be registered in 2017. So, yes, so you don't need to worry. Send me an email. This is my email address. I'm giving to you on the chat box.
Already on the chat. I've given it.
I said, send me an email. Send me an email with the work you're doing. Send me an email with the work you're doing, so that I see how I can incorporate the work, your team with my colleagues. But of course, I'll put you in touch with the team in Kenya as well.
Thank you
very much. Yeah, sawa. I already know Swahili from Kenya.
Karibu.
Flavino Chikayora. Can you unmute yourself and say one word before we close, please? Flaviano. Okay, I'm gonna skip a little bit. It seems it's not said. I'm gonna give my floor to Charles Busso. Charles Busso, do you want to say something? And maybe a word, your take-home message? Okay, thank you. Silence means good news. Ladislas Witanene, do you want to say a word before we close? Your takeaway? Okay, I move on. Masudi Haji, do you want to say a word before we close?
Okay. This is Ladislas.
Okay, Lizzie.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure, go on. We can hear you.
Hello?
You can go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, I'm Ladis Pitanene. I'm coordinator for the network organization of youth, climate change, biodiversity, network and forest in DRC. So this topic for today, only very good. So in DRC, the ECOCIDE is climate for the conservation and the climate change. Some youth organize the activity in country to the indigenous people in the community to plant the plants in DRC.
Merci beaucoup pour votre intervention. Moi, je suis Camerounais d'origine, mais je vis ici aux États-Unis. Merci beaucoup pour ton intervention. Et voilà mon email dans le groupe là. Vous pouvez m'envoyer un email pour que je vous apprenne plus de ce qu'on fait. Quoi. Merci. Sydney.
Yes, Charles is there.
Yes, Charles, go ahead, Charles. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Yes, thank you for the webinar. I can say that it has been very informative for me. And I'm a teacher researcher at Jean-Louis Nyongede University in Côte d'Ivoire. And I asked a question for Sue, but I don't know if she's still there.
Yeah,
when a country...
I'm still here. Yeah.
Yes. Did you see the question I sent on the chat?
Mm-hmm.
I say that...
let's have a look on the chat. Your question is, hang on. Okay. When a country passes a law banning a clearly ecocidal activity and then manifestly fails to apply this law, how can a citizen or an NGO force this country to apply the regulation, taking as tools the international ecocide regulation? Okay. So in the first instance, if the state, you go to the powers that be, and you make a complaint and pursue it through the criminal courts. If your country's criminal courts won't do anything about it, because for whatever reason, because because of the lobbying of the corporations, or because the political situation is not the same as when the law was passed, that is when you take it to the International Criminal Court. So the International Criminal Court, anyone can make a claim there. So you could do it personally through a lawyer, and make a claim. A civil society can do it. And what happens at the International Criminal Court is that the prosecutor will investigate whether there is sufficient evidence there to prosecute. So that's essentially what would happen. Does that answer your question?
Okay. Yes. Okay, thank you very much.
Hey, Charles, I have a comment for you. Charles, make sure you send me an email. We shall get your university to be part of the program. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So send your email
I've sent
on
it.
the chat.
I've sent it.
Okay.
Jeremy. Yes, Brenda, Alina. Yes, Brenda, over to you, Brenda.
Thank you so much, Ben. I wanted to also add a comment on what Charles has asked about the laws. For example, here in the context of South Sudan, it's we, the organizations, that go to the community, collect their voices. After collecting their voices, then we go to the inline ministries. For example, if it's about GBV, we shall go to Ministry of Gender, Child and Social Welfare to take ahead our issues to the concerned people to reach the parliament, unlike in other countries, for example, Uganda, whereby the parliamentarians will just come up with their laws and decide on their own. But in South Sudan, it's different. So I was saying that in case of such a scenario as Charles has raised, still them as the CSOs have that right, or as an organization, as Sue has said, you have that right as an organization to go to the lawyers and push your issue ahead within inline ministries. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Let me give the floor to Stephanie.
Very much.
Stephanie, please say something before we close. Stephanie Akachuku. Okay. Yes.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
I'm Stephanie Akachuku. I'm a senior level board incident from Nigeria University. I just want to say that I'm actually learning very much from what everybody has said, and I hope to learn more because I'm still a student, so I just want to,
Okay. Are you an intern?
mind.
Are you an
Yeah,
intern?
I'm an intern.
Oh, perfect. I'll be working with you guys personally. That's good. Congratulations for being one of them. Let me give the floor to Christopher Banda. Christopher Banda.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to say something. I'm from Zambia, and that I work for an organization called the Kapili Village Empowerment Programs, but we are affiliated also to a bigger organization which is dealing with our schools and the colleges permaculture. Now, the only comment I wanted to make is that we have a challenge here in Zambia because I was made in the same manner that there is a representation of parliament. And we have very little voice for the ordinary people, from the villages. And most of the things actually which they talk about, they are not touching the villages. And you have now a very sensitive issue concerning our indigenous food, our indigenous crops. This has been our cry here. We want to retain our indigenous soil seeds. But there is companies with a lot of money, they want to ban them. Now, this is a very serious issue, which ordinary people, they don't like it. But the biggest problem which we have is that when we are actually saying, like I do indigenous food myself, you find that the very people who are talking about against toxic foods and the fertilizers are the same people who, in the dark corners, they want to enjoy our indigenous food because they know very well that it's very good to our health. It's very good for our well-being. So I'm very, very grateful for this panel. Very, very grateful. This is very good. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. I've actually added the contacts for our focal point in Zambia in the chat box. We are actually based in the University of Zambia. At the University of Zambia, that's where we are based, at the University of Zambia. So you can contact Olipa. She's right on the call. So you can contact them as well. Let me give the floor to let me give the floor to Triza, older Triza. Okay, I'm gonna move to Mili Mukia. Okay, Trina is here. Trina. Yes, Trina?
Hello, Divine.
Yes, go on.
Yes, thank you so much for this opportunity. Actually, this is so insightful. Emily Munkei from Botswana. Actually, I work for Botswana University of Agriculture and Natural Resources.
Excellent.
This is very interesting, and I'm so interested as well to participate and get to know much, about this and, share with my colleagues and my students here. So I don't know how I'll be able to participate.
Of course. Listen,
Thank you.
We have Professor Joyce from Botswana, from Buan.
Yes,
right?
Yes, from Buan.
So now I have a very big concern. I want you people to set up the MOUs with your university. She has initiated a process, but it's slowing down. So can you help her fast track this process as well? Can you join efforts with her?
So the MOU in what?
MOU for Buan to be one of our centers of excellence, because we have what we call centers of excellence. Centers of excellence are actually the institutions we work with. We don't work with, we actually implement our program through universities, high schools, and all of that. So
I'll contact her.
Contact her so that you guys can fast track that process, because we cannot start the internship when we are not sure of the centers. Look at, this is the database we have right here. You see, this is our database. We have over 170 centers of excellence, but one is there but pending. One is there but pending. We have not yet finalized the MOU.
So where are we there?
No, she will tell you. She will tell you because I think she started it, but in the process.
She hasn't completed it.
Yeah, you have to work, just work with her. I think there's maybe, you're African. You guys have to change government, so
we did.
Yeah. So now, I'm happy to have you. Let me give the floor now to Paul Singombe. Paul Singombe from Uganda.
Okay.
Paul Singombe.
Hello, good afternoon from Kampala.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I'll come in late, and I just joined, so I don't know how far you've gone, but it's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, we have just 10 minutes to close, but we're going to close earlier because I have another call with NASA very soon. I just want to say that, Mr. Paul, we have Uganda. The Uganda is actually our headquarters for the CHAM program. CHAM is actually the Climate Smart Agriculture Youth Network Health Advancement Program. So we got a letter from the district officer from your country endorsing the program. So henceforth, our headquarters for CHAM is going to be in Uganda. I just wanted to let you know that we are very, very happy to have you on the call.
Okay, thanks a lot for that.
I need your email. Can you give me your email so that I can put you in touch with the people in Uganda?
Yes. Should I put it in the chat?
Yeah, sure. Just type it. No worries.
All right.
We are a family here.
Okay.
So no worries.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is actually the CHAM program. The CHAM is actually the health advancement program. So we have flagships all over. So we didn't give the health component. Yeah. So let me continue the screen. I don't know what's not spoken yet because we need to end the call. Yeah, Triza, Hunda Striza. Sorry for my pronunciation. Triza, yeah.
Okay, good afternoon. I'm Hulda Triza from the University of Kabianga. I am so grateful for learning much and which will help me to help my fellow students, my fellow colleagues also to get to know more. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Are you aware that Kabianga is the African office? Are you aware?
Yes.
Okay, good. So you have a lot of work to do there, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. So we're counting on you all. Let me give the floor. What's this? Yeah. So I think we are good. We are good colleagues. I have a call with NASA. You may want to know that we have a collaboration with NASA here in the United States, where we are looking at. We have a very big event. I'll be sending you guys an email. I'll be sending you guys an email with the program we have, so that all of you can be part of it as well. Yeah. So I think it was a nice one. Unless there's a burning question, before I can give the person the floor. If not, I would say thanks very much for being part of the webinar. And let's just keep following up. I've dropped my email right there. Oh, Hajija, Musudi Hajij, do you want to say something before I go? This is my email, colleagues.
Good evening to you. My name is Masood Haj.
Yes, sir.
I'm CEO of Earth and Humanity Initiative. It's a non-governmental organization in Uganda. It focuses on climate justice, environmental protection, human rights, and endangered species conservation. I'm actually so glad to be in this discussion, and I'm hoping to partner with you so that we can implement this policy, the ECOCIDE law, so that it can be implemented as a law in Uganda. Thank you so much.
I'm happy that we have about 2 people. Let me give the floor to Justin Shirima. Justin Shirima. Okay. All right, colleagues. I think we are good. We are good at this point. So I want to say thank you on behalf of CSAYN board of directors, on behalf of CSAYN members, on behalf of CSAYN communities, on behalf of CSAYN partners. I want to thank you for this very insightful presentation. And you can rest assured that we're going to take this discussion further. Concerning the event in the UK and Ghana and in Kenya, and equally here in New York, we're going to make sure that we work together to strengthen this ECOCIDE program. Of course, you know it's at the center of my heart, so I can't joke with it. I gotta make sure that we support as much as we can. So that said and done, colleagues, I want to wish you all a very good day, a good evening for those wherever you are, and then stay blessed. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.